this is further to the disclosures related to Keith Venables, who was practising as head of educational child psychology for the whole of Yorkshire, and
Derbyshire.
is still a registered child psychologist. He received an award in 2014 for his outstanding contribution to child psychology,
which the government paid for.
I've recently exposed him as a serial child abuser and a danger to any child, especially vulnerable children and especially children who've already suffered abuse. He is a danger to those children. Myself and other members of my family and my friends feel strongly that he's still a risk to children, that it's likely many of his victims have never been identified.
No, it could come out when he's dead.
And our
like Jimmy Savile.
Our concern now is to make sure that any victims are identified and receive appropriate therapy, because I don't want other people and children to have to go through what I've had to, and other members of my family have had to suffer as a result of child abuse. Today I've got my sister who's here.
Hiya.
It's my sister Denise, who's my middle sister, not my youngest sister, who Keith did sexually abuse. But Keith did.
I've had my own things with him. Yeah.
Keith did sexually abuse my sister's daughter, and that was disclosed to her as well. So she's here now today to confirm, and she remembers a few more details of things that happened to us children. While Keith, who was at the time, when he became our stepfather, he was a psychology graduate.
Wait, I stopped.
So I'm just going to pass you over to my sister Denise, and she's going to disclose certain things that she remembers of Keith's violent and abusive behaviour. So that's you.
Well, one of the times is we lived at Malling Walk, and mine and my sister Dawn's bedroom was on the balcony, and Keith had banished us to there, but we snuck out the window and climbed over to our friends over the balcony, and he found out, and when he dragged us back, and then he battered my sister until she cried, and then he battered me and I wouldn't cry, so he hit me with a belt, so I had to pretend to cry, but the next day I had the buckle mark on my back, and my friend Sharon told me I could get him done for that, but I didn't bother. And also he escorted me to the doctors one time down Robin Hood Chase in Nottingham, and he brought a tennis ball along with him and he was throwing it to me, so I was throwing it back, and because the sun was in his eyes, he missed the ball, knocked his glasses off, and he battered me for that, which I'll never ever forget. And also my sister Dawn told me that he was pulling her pants down to spank her bottom from the age of 14 for 2 years. And my eldest daughter Sarah also told me that when they went camping, he was tickling her in her private parts.
So there's some of the incidents, but like your son, my nephew, told me that when the children had gone to stay with Gran and Grandad one time, that Keith had found your daughter in his room. She'd gone in there to listen to music, and he held her up against the wall with his hand around her throat and the other hand up his crotch. Has anybody ever mentioned that to you?
No.
You weren't told that.
No. But it's believed, yeah.
But when I spoke to Sarah, she said that it happened. The first time he sexually abused her was when she was 6.
Well, she told me that she's come back saying, Mummy, Grandad was tickling me in private places. That's all I was aware of. But Dawn's told me all of the things. And even when I left Wesley with Naomi and went and lived with Mum and Keith, I had a few drinks one night and I just blurted blurted it all out, all this shit, about my daughter, and he went absolutely mad, and he had me arrested. The police came and they handcuffed me and took me out of his home. And I says, "Have you seen this, mother?" And when I explained to the police all that, because it hadn't happened to me, they said to me all they could do was give me this form to give to Dawn, because I got bailed to go to Dawn's, and they said she's got to deal with it, and she refused.
Right. And also...
So I got locked up over that.
Yeah.
Just because I confronted him about it. He had me arrested. Yeah. But I just don't understand how a man like that, with all the violence, can actually become... Because he wasn't a child psychologist when my mum first met him.
But he was a
The government actually paid for him to become a child psychologist, and all he did was fuck our fucking lives up.
But he was a psychologist.
Yeah. He's always
graduate.
been a psycho... Yeah.
Yeah, he was a psychology graduate once when my mum met him. And what...
Oh, he was in all these movements, Big Flame, Anti-Nazi League, and he went on like, I'm doing all right about the country and all this, that and the other. But he was a shit to us. All he did was batter us.
Yeah. And didn't they used to leave me looking after all these children for weekends?
That is true, yeah.
For whole weekends.
That is absolutely true. You were more of our mother than what our mother was.
And what was...
and he was no kind of fault. All he did was split us all up. He even got my mum into doing this Open University thing. And I remember coming back from High Wycombe after living with you, Debbie, right? And I met Pete and I was pregnant, and all of a sudden I was homeless. Right? I had to go to Uncle Ronald's on Elm Avenue in Arnold in Nottingham, right?
He wouldn't
yeah.
let you live at
Darryl
home.
was put somewhere. David, Dawn and Duncan had to go with Keith, and every single... Well, apart from Duncan, Dawn and David both fucking ran away from him.
Yeah, because Dawn said he was sexually abusing her at that time.
And so, her boyfriend, Colin, which is my ex-husband's brother, his mum and dad, Barry and Thelma, they put her up. They said, well, she can stay here.
Yeah,
and he couldn't do anything about it because he knew what he'd done to her. Yeah. So he left it at that. He was calm. Dave, he went down the motorway on a fucking moped to get away from him.
Yeah.
Duncan, he didn't have a say because he was only little.
Yeah.
Right, so Duncan had to stay with him.
But then, I was going to say, because you remember that time when I think you'd only just come in, I was standing up to
Yeah,
you.
I'd been to my friends, and I come back, and all I saw was a massive big fight going on in the, the middle bit, because Mum's bedroom was there, the kitchen was there, bathroom there, and in that, because it was a gap, because it was a masonette, so there was more stairs, but in that little gap, ragging you about, and then Keith, because I'd come in, so he punched his hand through the cupboard.
Yeah.
But it was proper violent to you. And you were only a
I was
child.
about 13, wasn't
yeah.
I?
And that's no way for a supposedly child psychologist to go on. How comes he can't deal with children?
And you do, because they did used to leave me for full weekends, didn't they?
Bloody did, yeah.
And every night, virtually every night.
Yeah.
What was I
and
doing?
one night, Debbie, you made a bloody point of it. You did, and do you know what I mean? But they did. Oh, I think they'd already put you in a home, but they had to wait for you to come over to look after us while they went to Amsterdam.
That was right.
Yeah.
They still arranged for me to go back, didn't they? So they could go to Amsterdam.
Yeah. Oh, come home, Debbie.
I was
come
only
home.
15,
We need to
I?
go. Yeah.
I was about 15.
That's right.
then,
Yeah. You were still only a teenager.
Yeah.
Love.
So they did.
Yeah.
Do you know? And I'd forgotten about that.
Oh well,
I'd
there you
forgotten.
are. I will never forget.
I do remember going back.
Yeah.
But they only had me there while they went.
They had Liz come round till you turned up.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. Auntie Betty. Yeah.
That's right.
It's true that. Look. Debbie, no matter what you've said about him, it is true.
Yeah.
And I've got my own qualms. I've never been sexually abused by him, but I have been battered by him. And not even my own dad did that to me.
Yeah.
He did Darryl, my dad did.
And
but Keith even broke Darryl's nose on Christmas Day because he asked for an extra roast potato.
That's right. It was a roast potato.
Yeah.
I said gravy.
A roast
on my
potato.
Thing, but that was when you.
No, it was a roast potato, Debbie.
Yeah.
I'll never forget that.
That was the first Christmas I'd spent with the family for years, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I'd gone down. It was the first Christmas dinner I'd had with the family
It's
for
true,
years and years.
Yeah.
And he did that to Darryl, didn't he?
Oh, and you know, even though you moved away, you always always come back and you never moaned or anything. You still bought lovely things for everybody.
I did still care
Yeah,
for all
of course,
you, didn't
yeah,
I?
because you loved us, didn't you? And fuck
Yeah.
Keith.
Yeah.
But you never deterred you from coming to see us and whatnot and
And I
helping
did-
us out. Yeah.
I did confront them about what
Oh, of
Darryl
course you did.
was
Hey,
doing.
Debbie, when I confronted Keith about what he'd done to my daughter and whatnot, because I says, that's right, I'd moved in there with Naomi and they're on about looking after them. I said, fuck off. Pardon my French. I said, you've got no chance. You're not looking after my daughter after what he done to my other daughter. And that's when I got arrested because I confronted him about it. He said, you're a pervert and whatnot. And that's when he had me arrested and locked up. Yeah.
There was,
And that's I got bail to go to Dawn's, and the police, all they did to me was give me a form for her to fill in,
Yeah.
which she didn't do, so I can't
No.
force her to do that. But I
No.
got locked up because of not what's
What-
happened to me, but
what he's done.
my sister and my daughter.
Yeah. And there was one other thing that I was interested, because you said that at one point my mum gave you a box of papers thinking they were yours.
Oh gosh, bloody hell. Well, my mum was training to be a social worker, yeah, and Keith a child psychologist, yeah. And oh, can we have the kids for the weekend? Yeah, all right then. And then years later, I found out that all they were doing was studying them. Photographs next to files, and this is what they did, yeah,
So they were using the
Yeah,
children
using
to
my
further their
children.
careers,
to enhance their careers. Yeah.
but not giving them any help
No,
at all.
no, and still being fucking horrible to them. Even my own kids were battered by Keith.
Your own children
Yes.
were battered by Keith.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, he was right horrible to them. That's why I do not understand how he can become a child psychologist and how the government can fund someone like that, because that's what they did.
Yeah.
They paid for him to become a child psychologist.
And the other thing is that, you know, like with him, what do you think about the
Right.
fact
Well,
that
if he's such a great child psychologist, how comes that he's left us in a fucked up way?
yeah,
We've all got issues with him.
yeah,
Right. Some don't want to speak about it. Our Dawn, she's mental. Well, not mental, but she's got her own issues. Perhaps she wants his inheritance.
well, that has been discussed, hasn't
Yeah,
it? Because
yeah.
did
He's
you
promised
say-
her.
He's
He
promised,
promised
her
her. Yeah.
an inheritance.
Yes. Yeah. Her and Duncan. That's
Oh,
it.
if they keep silent.
Yeah. Well, he didn't say that.
But that's what.
But
it
he
is
says,
about.
he took Dawn under his finger and says, Dawn, you and Duncan, you're the ones who's going to get any money.
Right.
Yeah.
Um,
And don't get me wrong, this is not about that. But why should he say that? Why not all of us?
yeah.
Yeah.
Not that I'd want any of his
no.
money anyway.
And, no, because he's
Yeah.
not even our biological father. He's just
Yeah.
a stranger. My mum picked up.
Yeah.
But why should he say that to Dawn?
Yeah. Just at the time
Yeah.
when the police
So
are asking
he's
questions.
sort of prostituting her now.
Yeah. Yeah. And well, we've discussed this
Yeah, he's
today,
right.
haven't we?
He's been a pimp.
Yeah.
Ooh, don't you say anything. Don't get involved with Debbie, because she
And-
speaks the truth. But you stand on my side, love, because I'll give you some money when I'm dead, and I
Yeah,
bet you any
when
money
he's
he
dead.
won't.
No, he won't.
It'll all
And
go
we
to
know
his
that.
nieces.
We know that
Yeah.
because we know he's a
It'll all
sadist.
go to Eleanor,
And he'll have the last laugh, won't
Yeah,
he?
yeah.
So,
It'll all go to his
you know, Dawn,
nieces.
if
It's-
you're listening to this,
It'll all go to Jan's children.
yeah, if you're listening to this, you won't get a single penny, and it'll be his last laugh on you, and that's your own fault for being stupid.
And Dawn, love you, but wake up, love.
Yeah, you do need to wake up. And so
He's just another Jimmy Savile.
yeah, that is what I think, because Jimmy Savile had abused two members of his
Yeah.
family on 2 odd occasions,
Yeah,
hadn't he?
yeah.
And yet, look how many
Yeah,
victims
and
were
then you'll
outside
end
the
up as-
family.
Prominent people in society.
Yeah,
How does a man who's battered, sexually
abused,
abused, and tormented his own family, well, his
adopted family,
Yeah,
because
adopted
he
fam-
insisted
yeah,
on
yeah.
being our dad.
how
didn't
do
he?
they become a child psychologist?
And didn't he insist that your
Even-
daughter called him granddad?
Yeah, he insisted, yeah.
But-
And not only that, he actually got a doctor out to me because I put myself in my music because I was under depression after my house got taken away for stupid fucking reasons. They said that it didn't have any proof I was on income support, and income support would pay my arrears all the time, so my house got taken away. So I was depressed, listening to music,
Yeah.
and he went absolutely fucking ballistic. He even held my mum by her throat.
Yeah. Because he did.
Yeah.
He was quite violent.
And he even
towards my
got a
mum at
doctor to
times.
me, and the doctor came up to my room and saw me full ashtrays. I said, "You've been smoking. You smoked all of them." I says, "I have, look." He said, "Well, don't you know that's dangerous?" I said, "So dropping bombs on people, but it doesn't stop them doing that, does it? So I'll carry on smoking, thank you, love." And he went downstairs and says, "That's a very intelligent woman," and left.
Yeah.
But he did try. A child psychologist, tried to have me sectioned
Yeah.
because he couldn't cope with.
Yeah. What you were
Yeah,
saying.
yeah. So what kind of psychologist is he? If he can't deal with someone of his own adopted family.
Yeah. But he was with the family.
Yeah, he
Was it
even
nearly
tried to put it on
18
you.
Years?
He even tried to get you to fucking take me on, and I was sat there praying you wouldn't, and you didn't, because you knew, fuck you, you're supposed to, yeah, she's in your house.
Well, at the time
Yeah,
I
well,
was
yeah,
looking after a
Debbie,
mentally ill person.
When you looked after me in Howard Wycombe, no problem. So why the fuck should you do it just because he can't cope and he's supposed to be a professional psychologist? You're still trying to dump me on you.
Mm.
It's like a reflection from the past. Go on, take him out. Go on, Debbie.
Yeah.
Get out. Yeah. Get up, have your breakfast, fuck off out. Don't come back till dinner time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Innit?
Yeah. That's how it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was still trying to do that when I was bloody 30 something.
Yeah.
Well, my mum and him. Yeah.
So, you know, I mean, basically everything that I've said about Keith,
It's all true.
I feel like it. You know, it really disturbs me to find
Yeah.
out.
How
as
can
head
a
of the
man?
teachers'
How can a
union,
man
how did
who
he get to
pulls
be head
down
of
the
the
knickers of a
teachers' union?
14-year-old child, 14-year-old
13,
girl?
12 to 14,
Yeah.
he
Well,
was doing that
you know what I
stuff.
mean. Yeah.
Yeah.
To spank a bottom, become a child psychologist.
Yeah.
How? How on this planet? And the government funded it
Yeah.
because no one reported him, so he gets away
But
with
she
it.
did actually report him to the police, didn't
Oh,
she?
well, Debbie, she ran
At
away.
14.
No, she did, and she ran away, and she told the police that he'd sexually abused her. And my mum turned up, crying her eyes out. So
Yeah.
Dawn says, "And it's not true. I made it up."
Yeah.
That,
But
that
they've
is the
still
fact.
got that on record.
Yeah. Oh, they'll have it on record.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
so that
They
should
will,
have gone
yeah,
against
yeah.
him, really.
It's
ever
only the fact that
becoming-
my mum turned up, crying her eyes out, that Dawn says, "I made it all up."
Yeah.
But she did report it.
But
she
it
did.
was on record,
Yes,
wasn't
yes,
it? That
of course,
there'd been
it
a
should be.
report against him.
It should definitely still be. Yeah.
Yeah. So
That is an absolute fact. That.
it's disturbing.
Yeah, and I'm sure it was Dr. Nana at Bestwood, in Nottingham, where we should, somewhere around there, yeah, because it was at Chippenham Road.
And, you know, like, I feel that it isn't by accident, really, that somebody like him has risen so high in the world, because it seems, after what I've been studying
Yeah, it
and the
seems
cases
all the-
I've been
yeah.
working on, it's as if they choose these
Yeah,
people
yeah.
because they're like
Oh,
that.
do you know who I feel sorry for, Debbie? All these little orphans from Syria and whatnot who are going to get brought to this country, and all they're going to do is get put in homes and be sexually abused.
Denise, they are. There's
Exactly.
Hundreds of them going missing from
it's
care.
It's
Hundreds
like
of them
a
are going
fucking
missing
vendetta.
from
Yeah,
care now.
Yeah, it's like they've done it deliberately. Oh, come on, get all the paedophiles out. We've got lovely children coming who can't speak a word of English and can't complain.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, I'm gonna end it there. But this is my sister Denise, who shared a home, you know, with us, with me as a child with Keith. She
It's
knows.
all true. I've got no reason to hide it. Yeah, it's just absolutely true. It's just experience, and what everything my sister said is absolute fact.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you, and thank you for listening.